Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to go through and do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. I dive deeper into all this stuff, looking for potential investment opportunities for this commodity bull market that we are in. If you want to sign up, we do have a discount coupon code Mayday that is still active. 50% off the first month only on the monthly membership, and a larger discount on the yearly membership if you're interested. So let's dive in. Let's take a look, see what's going on today. Starting with the DXY, still a lot of selling pressure going on, as expected. A lot of the times when you're coming and pulling back, you'll start to see upward rising patterns that invariably break to the downside. So then you start to see the stair step pattern breaking. There's another one here, and we're continuing to go lower. That did break the larger pattern, which is this trend line here that we were kind of squeezing up. We've broken out, and I do think that we could see lower dollar into the future. The dollar is a measurement of the monetary strength, the monetary policies that each of these currencies have. And right now, people are expecting the interest rates on the dollar to go down, and the pressure ends up in the currency, the value of the currency. 2-year yields also dropping down 1.82%. Is this the beginning of a larger move that moves lower? Very well could be. And again, we have broken through the trend line to the downside, and this looks like we could come back to a level down here even. Very possible. We also have 10-year yields selling off today. That's also moving out of this kind of support level. It's a weak support level, but we're heading lower, 1.37 down. And then the 30-year also heading lower. And this very well could extend quite a bit to the downside and even head all the way down here, somewhere down there, which is possible. I'm not stating that will occur, but that is definitely possible. TYX TNX ratio, we are slightly higher today. Not gobloads higher, but just a little bit. And with yields going down and this going up a little bit, that's providing tailwinds behind the price of gold. We've got TLT, which is bond prices heading higher. As expected, with yields dropping, this is going to break to the upside and run for a little bit. We've got the 2 and 10, and we've got a little bit of yield curve uninversion, so it's coming back down a little bit today. But we are still inverted and nothing to worry about yet. In terms of yield curve inversion, inverting below the 1%, that's a 1-to-1 ratio. That's usually when people look for recessions. But I will say this, it seems like a lot of the numbers have been monkeyed around with. If you look at unemployment, you look at some of these inflation numbers, I don't know if they're really legit numbers. So they're probably in here playing with this as well, keeping this inverted. We'll see. We've got gold up about $12. I am very surprised that this didn't end up a lot higher than what it did. I think there's also some monkeying going around that they don't want this to rip. Commodities are priced to gold. Gold runs first. If gold goes way up, it is signaling problems in the market. And I think they're allowing gold to go higher, but I also think that they are trying to slow the move. Governments and Federal Reserve trying to slow the move so it doesn't get out of hand. Silver also was ripping earlier today. Surprised that it only ended up 0.6% with weaker dollar and weaker yields. Nothing there was there to really explain why this thing would sell off, but anyway, still looks good to go higher where it's positioned. Platinum down just a little bit, still consolidating right underneath that trend line that we are trying to break through. And then palladium also right at support, been just moving sideways, slightly lower today. We've got GDX up 0.66, and this looks fantastic from a longer term viewpoint. Same with GDXJ, it's right at that resistance line that we're starting to break through, this white line going across. And then SILJ, we're up about 1%. Still looks good. We did lose some momentum throughout the day on all of them, though, with the metals pulling back kind of midday. They were raging in the morning time frame. XEU to gold ratio, we're still seeing the gold and silver mining companies outperforming gold at a very low level here, undervalued. I think we've got a long way to go higher for the gold and silver mining companies. And I know everyone hates them. I even see in the comments section, why would anybody buy this stuff? Well, that's why you buy it, because no one owns it. Crude oil down 0.6%. We are still within this pattern. I am also surprised at oil to be down this low with the inventory draws that we've continually seen. I know people state that it's the commercial inventories that we're looking at, but I got to admit, guys, the SPR has been ravaged. They went in there and dumped a lot of barrels on the market. So I do expect this to work its way on up eventually. If we get a slowdown or a scare in the market, this is generally when it occurs. We got 9/11. That event occurred right in a similar area like this. COVID also occurred in a similar event. Here's COVID there. Then 9/11, of course, the yield curve was uninverting already. So same with this, the yield curve was uninverting. It's like they needed an extra boost to nail everything lower so they can position. So maybe they are going to provide an extra boost for positioning for their boys. Some people say that it was the Trump uh, thing going on, and the yield curve was uninverting for that, which means there was prior knowledge of that before it occurred and positioning that was occurring in the market. TTF, natural gas down 4%. And it looks like we're getting a little bit of a selling pressure move. We'll see if it extends throughout the week to the downside. We've got natural gas slightly lower, still looks good with momentum to the upside. We've got XOP, yeah, you know me, bigger selling pressure today. I've been expecting a selling pressure day or two or three because usually when you get these large selling pressure candlesticks, you get kind of a weak bounce. Usually you get one last kind of selling pressure move off. You need to base out, or this could even reverse and sell off even lower. That's kind of what I've seen next to these large selling pressure candlesticks with little kind of up days like this that are rolling over. But we'll see what kind of follow through if there is any. We'll watch it together here. OIH getting the same treatment, big selling pressure. This is basically a flag pattern which would extend lower. Backing out a little bit, we're also have a high, a lower high, a lower high, and if we lose this here, we could easily sell off for a little while to the downside. It's possible. We've got Newcastle coal futures down a little bit, but again, I think we're going sideways or higher because of the bottom that we are basically putting in here. It could bounce around a little bit longer, but I think it's a good location to be looking at potential coal investments over the next 6 months or so. We got Sprott Physical Uranium Trust up 1.22% right on support. We'll see if that support holds. I'm in the camp that we could easily see this pull back here for a full retest. We've got uranium futures still tracking sideways in that circle there. Small little up and down days. We've got URA, the uranium equities. So whenever you see these kind of pop up like this, generally wants to roll over, what I see historically. So when you get next to these large selling pressure candlesticks and you have a really weak bounce like this, we easily could sell off and get one last capitulation sale or bounce a couple times. And we need to base is what I'm saying. We need to base whenever you get next to these large selling pressure candlesticks. We haven't done that yet. URNM is still trying to do that. We're still trying to base out here, work off some of this downside momentum. Then URNJ is the same. It's all the same stuff. And this is after that breakout here, that trend line. Copper, slightly lower today. And it does, I bet you we'll probably bounce all around here. Maybe we'll put in some sort of like shoulder head shoulder pattern, something like that. We've got COPX also heading a little bit lower. Looks like we could sell off a little bit in the short term, but bearish engulfing today. We've got iron ore up right around that support region. The support level is this guy here. And if we do get a slowdown, if that does come, we could easily extend more to the downside. I know China's been a little bit weak here in the short term. Aluminum doesn't care. It's up 2% ripping. There we are today. A little bit of a wick at the top, a little bit of momentum loss throughout the day. Nickel moving sideways. Looks like it's trying to base out here. Moving sideways. Moo down 1%. This thing was looking really, really good coming out of this pattern here. Still looks good. Maybe we get a retest before heading higher. Emerging markets down a little bit. Still looks good. Momentum still to the upside. I am surprised with the dollar weakness and the lower interest rates that emerging markets is down a little bit. ARE also down a little bit, 1.8%. Doesn't look too bad. Momentum still heading higher. And down 2%. Something's going on. People are selling stocks even though we've got lower yields, lower dollar. Lithium down a little bit, trying to base out. We've got rare earth metals also trying to base out, and I'd give it time here, guys. We could easily ignite another selling pressure move lower if we get some scared investors starting to sell stuff in the markets all over the place. Baltic Dry Index up 1%. It's right around that support level. There we are. We've got XHB down 0.7% or so. Whenever you see this big selling pressure and you see this small kind of move higher, generally it works its way down again. What I've seen in history. Russell 2000 down 1%, back to support. Right there. That line is what I'm talking about for support. The S&P 500 also down. I am surprised at how high this has gotten. I'm still in the camp that this could easily roll over. Still in that camp. I'm waiting for that rollover. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's okay. I'm not betting for it or against it. Looking at this and kind of how this is playing out, what I see is kind of the Batman pattern. And someone took it in their own hands and pushed that up higher. There is a pattern here, which is the rising wedge, which squeezes into a smaller area, that distance, broke out, and then suddenly we are back up here. People using short-term price movements as a justification, we're going to go higher. I would be careful here. I would be careful. Looking at NASDAQ, also doing something very similar to the S&P. We get this kind of Batman looking pattern. We could get a raised right hand side, and this is where you generally come down and fail. I'm surprised at where we're located up here, almost like this was pushed to the upside, maybe for a presidential election or something like that. Maybe. We've got SMCI down 2%, and this still looks like garbage, but it is trying to work its way on up somehow. Then we've got NVIDIA down 2%. I am surprised with NVIDIA holding on this side here, but it is still holding at this time. Bitcoin up 0.8%. We're still in this big pattern here. It is consolidating and it is downward facing, which means we could break to the upside. Then we've got Ethereum down 1%. Another one that's been downward facing, but we do have some selling pressure here, and it has been consolidating, which curious to see if we break higher or if there's another venture lower in the short term or not. We'll have to wait and see. Again, just keep in mind, I am not a short-term trader. I invest for the longer term, but I do use these charts for long-term entry points. But give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. Mayday coupon code if you want a discount. And we'll see you guys. I'll have midweek update being released tomorrow, sharing my opinions there. And then we've got a Saturday question and answer session, 7 a.m. All right, guys. Well, I think it's at 7 a.m. Let me double check that. I have to see if it's Saturday or Sunday. Now, after I think about it, I think it's actually it's Sunday. Sunday at 5 p.m. after I think about it. All right, guys, that's what I've got for today. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.